Hi, everybody, and welcome to our 7th lab. This lecture today is super duper short, so let's get started. We're going to be discussing the upper limb today. Now, this week for muscle, our main focus is going to be basically the muscles that are working on the shoulder joint and then the upper arm, as well as the forearm and hand muscles. So basically, we're looking at all the muscles that are going to work on your shoulder joint, your elbow joint, your wrist, and then the ones in your hands. So when we're looking at the upper arm and shoulder, obviously, the ones that are connected to the scapula, that are crossing the shoulder joint, they're going to work on your shoulder. So raising your hand, lowering your hand, abduction and adduction. And then the ones that are in your upper arm, these are the two that we're most familiar with, your biceps brachii, your triceps brachii muscles. These ones are typically going to focus primarily on the elbow joint, though they do have a little bit of action with the shoulder joint. Again, one thing that we talked about last week in lecture was muscles are acting on joints they cross. So some muscles only cross one joint and some cross two. So pay close attention to your structure list when you're learning your actions. When it comes to the forearm muscles, as we talked about in lecture, we do have compartments. So we have the anterior compartment, which is primarily going to cause flexion of the wrist and digits. And then we have our posterior compartment, which is primarily going to have extension of the wrist and digits. When you guys are looking at your structure list, you're going to see that they originate typically either on the medial or lateral epicondyles. Again, this is a really important thing to look at. Take a look at the whole picture. Now, instead of memorizing each individual muscle and its individual origination site, you just know this compartment, this epicondyle, this compartment, this epicondyle, and it makes your life a lot easier. Lastly, we're going to look at our hand muscles. These are the intrinsic muscles that we'll look at. We don't look at all of them. We're going to look at a couple that work on the thumb and some that work on the pinky, simply because they are either the most interesting, important, or easiest to remember. Those of you that are heading into physical therapy, you will get this in a lot more detail. You'll learn about the pulley systems, your lumbricals, and all of the individual muscles that help give us that really fine motor control that we see in our fingers. Now, the one thing I really want to lecture on today is the forearm. For me as a student, this sucked. There's a lot of muscles in the same spot, and that makes it really hard for us a lot of the time. So what I have here is your forearm circle, and this is also in your lab manual, I believe. So I've divided it into anterior and posterior compartments, and you'll notice we have two muscles that kind of sit at the top and bottom of the circle. We have our brachioradialis and we have our flexor carpi ulnaris. These are muscles you can see from both sides. So if you're looking at the anterior view, you can see both of these. If you're looking at the posterior view, you can see both of these. Make sure you know where these are on both views because they're your orientation muscles. Now, you'll notice some of the muscles on the anterior surface have pass, fail, pass, fail. I'll go through that more with you in lecture because in the lab, it's really hard for me to show you on a video, but this is a little mnemonic to help you remember orientation and order for some of your anterior muscles. Now, how is this going to help you? What I want you guys to do is pretend that this is a bracelet and put your left hand through this circle with your thumb up. If you do that, this is the exact order your muscles will go in. So again, left hand, thumb up, through the bracelet. This is the order the muscles are going to go in. Okay, and once you know that, it's easy. Again, you can also use the names to help you with where they're located. So extensors, posterior compartment. Radialis, they're on the thumb side. One is long, one is short. Palmaris longus, this is on the anterior surface. It's the long tendon muscle that goes to the palm of the hand. So as we spend some more time with our models and the anatomage, this will make a lot more sense. So here are the models that we're going to be working with. I have two of these small arm models. This is Pat's arm, and then we have my big arm model. So we'll be working with these today, as well as spending some time with the anatomage. So let's talk about the overview of today's lab period. Again, we're going to do a quick little discussion, primarily focusing on some things that are kind of hard for me to teach you in terms of memory devices for the arm muscles through a YouTube video. Then we're going to talk more about our specific work with the anatomage this week and your groups and stations and what we're going to be working on. Primarily, lab this week is broken down into two components again, anatomage work and model work. So we're going to spend roughly 20 to 30 minutes this week in your small groups on the anatomage, performing a task related to your forearm and upper arm muscles. And then the other activities you guys have to work on are your models. So again, primarily work on your week 2 muscles. Find all the muscles that you can on your models for the arm. And then we are going to have time this week for you to go back and either review muscles that you had a hard time with last week or ones that you just didn't have a chance to get to. And honestly, that's it for this week. So I'll see you guys in lab. Bye.